What is up, guys? Zach Ginn here. I am with Joe Reilly of Enterprise Elite, and Joe is going out here and making over $1 million a year. That is a seven-figure wholesaler. And what I would do is just talk to him exactly how he got started in wholesaling real estate, how you get started, and some awesome tips. Actually, on my other YouTube channel, we actually interviewed Joe and his partner, and we got a lot of questions about, how is he really making his money? How can I do the same thing, and how you can benefit from here? So, Joe, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, brother? Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. I want to provide as much value to your audience. Keep them coming back. Zach Ginn runs an incredible YouTube channel, and I just want to say, nobody out here is doing what he's doing on YouTube. It's incredible. He provides so much value to you guys, and I hope you guys keep coming back to his videos because I'm a student of the game. I'm still learning. I love watching his videos. And I've been in the game 7 years, but we never stop learning. There's always new strategies, new technologies, new tools you can use. X Leads is one of those. I mean, phenomenal tool. Totally an advantage to every wholesaler who uses it. The skip tracing is incredible. And I just want to, shout out Zach for that. And thank you very much for having us on the channel.
There we go, man. I'm excited. So first and foremost, you talked about the other channel, you're doing well. Obviously, everyone knows that you're on new school wholesaling with me. So it'd be kind of cool for people know you a little better on there, right? So everyone knows kind of you talking a little bit on there, but there's obviously 1 million people on there. So kind of give you more of a light on here. So first and foremost, who's Joe Reilly? What's Enterprise Elite? And how are you so good at wholesaling, man?
So, thanks a lot, brother. So basically, we started 7 years ago. I was 20 years old when I got my first deal, and I'm 27 now. So that deal, I was cold calling a list of pre-foreclosures, and that was the first list I pulled. And I didn't know any of the tools that I could use nowadays with the dialers and all these fancy things that make wholesaling a lot easier. But, I just pulled a list from HUDforeclosures.com. I don't even know if that's around anymore, but I just pulled it for $37. It was about 150 pre-foreclosures. And they were new. They were good quality pre-foreclosures. And I just printed out an Excel spreadsheet and just crossed out the people that I couldn't, that said no. If they didn't say no, I didn't cross them out. I would call them again later. So I would remember to call them back when I cycled back through the list. And then two people said yes from that list, one for $50,000 and one for $5,000 profit. The $50,000 one, which was the first deal that I ever locked up under contract, I locked it up on February 21st, 2019. And that deal actually wasn't the house that I was calling. I was calling a home that was in pre-foreclosure, and they just so happened to own a school. So I tell everybody in this game, do not do what I did on my first deal, even though I made 50 grand from it. Commercial is a whole separate beast. And as a beginner learning all these things, it's a huge learning curve in commercial. Residential is a lot simpler. But I went through it because I had an incredible deal under contract. I had it under contract for $295,000, and it was appraised for $800,000 a year prior. So I knew I had a deal. I didn't know much about wholesaling, but I knew that much of a discount had to be a deal, right?
Yeah.
So, that deal turned out to be a $50,000 profit. It should have been at least $150,000 profit. I had it assigned for $150,000 profit, but the problem that I had, Zach, and maybe this is something that all your viewers could learn from, is that contract it displayed my assignment fee. And that's an issue because when the buyer knows that this 20-year-old kid is making $150,000 selling him a contract, he can't help but count my pockets.
Oh, yeah.
Pocket watching. What'd you say, brother?
Pocket watching.
He's pocket watching, man. And buyers should never watch your pockets, right? As all that matters is he's getting a deal at a good price. He got a half off deal, $450,000 for a property that was $800 $100,000 appraisal, but I was new. I didn't know how to use the right contracts or how to write the right contracts. And these are things that, you pay for your education either way. The good thing about wholesaling is I started with $37 and made $50,000 on my first deal, but I did pay $100,000 in missed opportunity because I didn't know what I was doing. So it's a double-edged sword, right?
Oh, yeah.
The good thing about wholesaling is I did that at 20 with no cash, no credit, no license. I'm sure everybody here knows that, but these little strategies make a big difference, and they add up to a lot of money. So that was kind of our first deal, and then from there, I got an office. I paid for, I made $55,000 in a month. I was like mind blown. This business is insane. And then COVID hit.
Oh yeah.
Right after I got an office, right after dude, it was it was messed up. And excuse my French, guys. It was messed up, and the problem is I did the wrong thing. Wholesaling actually was the best business to be in when COVID hit, but I freaked out and I thought that the market was going to tank, and I thought I had the crystal ball. I don't know if you remember those days, Zach, but it was the world was crazy with real estate. Everybody thought it was going to tank, and so I started getting into like subject to and creative financing at that point in commercial deals, and it was totally a bad decision for me to focus on those things rather than what had worked, which is like it's residential wholesaling is way better than these other genres of wholesaling, if you will, because those are harder deals to put together, and they're not like there's a huge learning curve, and it's not as scalable. So I learned the hard way when I had an office. After my first two deals, I didn't close deals for a while because COVID hit, and I was just like totally in a frenzy about it and trying to learn this whole other side of the business. So my advice from my mistakes is not to go get distracted with shiny object syndrome of all the ways to do this, and stick to the repeatable, scalable business of wholesaling houses that need work. You know how to calculate the work that's needed because you use the right tools, and then you sell the deal for what it's actually worth to a flipper. It's just such a simple business model. And Zach, I'd like to know, the rest of the story is self-explanatory. We did that. We messed up for like a little while. Then we really got our stuff together in the third year of business and just started really partnering with our students. And when I met my business partner, John, who really knew how to get us in front of eyeballs on social media, it was just a snowball effect. We just taught everybody the game, and then they brought us deals, and it was totally just a win-win-win. So, our business scaled to over $1 million a year, pretty much immediately as soon as we partnered up. And that's my story, but I'd like to know your thoughts on that as far as like shiny object syndrome in this game. What do you think about that, Zach?
Yeah, first and foremost, right, I think it's pretty cool what you've done, and that's why obviously you're on here, right? Because your path's really kind of hilarious. Is you went from like selling coaching, and then you're like, wait, I can make more money doing JV deals, and I'm like, I've been telling you this forever, dude. But basically, now you have a school group. Now you JV with people, and now you're making a lot of money doing it. Shocker. But it's what I've been telling everyone forever. It's like one student might make you $5,000 if you do the high ticket. Let's say you get 20% for a closer setter, whatever. You net $3,000 for a student for a lifetime or something stupid. I can take one guy, teach him how to wholesale real estate. He sends me a $20,000 deal. I collect $10,000. Takes about an hour of my time with me and my team. Like, what makes more money, right? That's why I always tell. And guess what? Then no, they're not like, where's the coaching call? Hey, oh my gosh, it's a nightmare, dude. So I really like what you're doing.
Yeah.
We got to hop on 3 hours, got a customer support. I don't deal with any of that stuff, man.
Yeah.
I teach wholesaling real estate for free. And, you got in the software thing too, and you made your own awesome tools to help in your own business. And obviously, it's a win-win for everyone, right? So, the shiny object syndrome, I'll be honest with you, man. I think you learned this too. There's no such thing as that. It's never a spending problem. It's always an income problem. And that's something that I figured out pretty dang quick. You know, if you have somebody who makes 50 grand a year and they have like 100 grand a year of spending, go make $1 million. You won't have a spending problem. Trust me. I always have a rule. I try to spend 10% of everything I make, and I can't hit that number. And it's not because I have a spending. I trust me. I can go buy some nice things.
Yeah.
But like, I don't have a spending problem. You know, my income's just too high. And so I think shiny object syndrome's terrible when you're broke, because then you have a spending problem's always an income divided by what you're spending. So if you're under 10% what you make, you're good to go. And I mean, outside of boats and maybe like a Bugatti, like it's really hard to when you start making millions of dollars, it's really hard to outspend yourself. You know, you get into boats, private jets, sure. But like, if you're not into hypercars, if you're not into private jets or big yachts, it's really hard to spend your money. Like, it's really like, how much clubs can you go to, right? Like, it gets really old really quick.
Yeah. So, the club thing I did for about 6 months when I first started making some money, and I was like, wow, this is the most superficial. Like, what the hell is this? Like, I'm not a big clubber. I just don't like.
No. Clubs. And if you get a really nice house, after 10 years, the house appreciates. So it's not like spending's actually like, it's hard to blow money when you start making a ton. If you don't go nuts. And so you got to find something you're really passionate about. And that's always been wholesaling for me. And I'm glad you kind of gone full circle with this whole thing, man. So it's so it's mostly JVs for you now?
Yeah. So we're doing the thing is, we had a Discord for a while, and it was $50 a month. And it was going well, okay? And because we were partnering, we were doing JV deals, and there was a little bit of like sacrifice from the people that it was only $50, but there was a sacrifice, and at least that made them a little bit more serious about learning this game and closing deals. But we noticed a problem. We noticed that nobody knew how to calculate what to offer for a deal, because when they were making offers on these houses, they didn't understand what it costs to fix.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, Zach, that's something that you experience as well. I think a lot of beginners have this struggle. Like not you, your students. I'm sure like everybody in this game who just starts, they have trouble because they look at this piece of shit property, right? And it's like, oh my God, how am I going to know what to offer on this? Because I don't know if this is going to cost $100,000 or $50,000 or what it's going to cost. So what really changed our business was, so we just switched to school. We made it all free. So everybody, we just teach them the game. We like we like just giving the game and then partnering with students like what you do. I mean, it's
love it. It's wholesale houses with us.
Yes, sir. Wholesale.
I like it. Us. I like it. I've been in there, dude. I love it, dude. Literally, my only issue with it is you could spend more time doing the course. Like, for example, I went through the course, before this, and I'm like, if I ask you, hey, what list do you pull? You tell me. But I'm like, hey, like, dude, you should just do a screen share. Show people actually doing it. That's my only thing I would change. But obviously, you're going to make some big improvements by the time this comes out. Like, I think you're going to go crazier inside of the actual like course part. And it's not because you're something to sell. It's like we just want to just make it better, because the reason I'm throwing you in here is I get asked like, okay, I get how this guy's making millions, but like how? Like what list are you pulling? And so I'm trying to get that out of you now, but we got to definitely get that in the school group. But dude, you got a decent community in there. It's grown well. I mean, it's probably the 4th biggest wholesaling school group already, and you just started it, which is pretty impressive.
And we've already gotten a bunch of deals under contract. So what I want all the beginners here to understand is this is a numbers game. Okay, Zach, how many offers does it take? Like, do you have an offers to deal like under contract ratio in your business?
That's 70. So in person, obviously, it's going to be like a
way higher
% closing rate.
What is it? 70?
70 in person. And then virtual is probably going to be 55, 60.
Okay.
Yeah. But we condition sellers, right? So before we give an offer like, hey, are you ready to make a yes or no decision? Because you don't want to get hit with the maybe. No, I don't want to. Do you know about conditioning sellers?
I mean, conditioning sellers.
You need to teach everyone to condition sellers, man.
I'm interested.
All right. So remember when you were broke and you were more of a loser in high school before you got rich and successful?
Yeah.
Okay. You remember Sarah Johnson, you asked her out to prom and she said maybe. And then she went with the football player and you're all sad. Not you, but maybe some of the audience is, right? I'm just kidding. But like,
No, how'd you?
back in high school, dude, you'd ask somebody out to the dance and they'd say maybe. That is like the most soul crush. It's better just to say no.
Yeah.
I'll think about it like, oh God, that sucks, right? Or it's like when you propose to a girl or whatever, and then she says maybe. It's like, ooh,
Think about it.
I'll think about it. And a lot of wholesalers get stuck with that. They say, hey, would you take my offer 60,000? And the seller says, maybe. What happens after that? It's very hard to get a deal after that. So I make it a rule, and I'm trying to teach this to everybody. Just before you give an offer, hey, Mr. Seller, are you ready to make a yes or no decision? You're not? Why is that? Either decision makers aren't there or they're actually not motivated to sell. Mm-hmm. So, dude, that's like my number one. That's why closing rates are so high. And the secret, 98% of sellers just say yes off the bat. They subconsciously agree. And if they say, oh, I got to really think about it, Joe. Well, aren't you a man of your word? Because I'm a man of my word. You said you were ready to make a decision. And then their ego gets in. Everyone's got a crazy little ego sometimes. And then boom, oh, no, I will make a decision. And so you do not, I call it getting friend zoned. Do not want to get friend zoned. Okay. All right.
I love that, Zach. I mean, that's because that just makes sense psychologically when people commit to something out loud.
Oh yeah.
You remind them that they did that. Your success rate is going to be through the roof. That makes a lot of sense. That's really valuable game. Holy wow!
I've been telling everyone about it, man.
This guy is amazing. That really is a great tip. I'm definitely going to have to use that, brother.
Bro, throw it on Dossie. Tell people condition. Okay, I do not care. And I love Dossie, man. The cool part about Dossie is we have that inside of X Leads on the AI, but it's for like the $199 a month plan, just to be able to have that feature. So it's pretty cool. You're able to do it, what, 20 a month?
Yeah, it's 20 a month.
I have no idea.
Back guarantee within the first 30 days.
Okay.
If you don't,
I got it like 9 months ago. So I don't know if they raised the prices since when I got it.
And actually, if you guys use code Zach, we will give you 50% off. So, because we'll know that you came from this channel and we love Zach. So, 50% off for a year subscription. If you guys get in there, it's a very valuable tool. And everybody knows, guys, this is a numbers game. So the quicker you can make offers, the quicker you can sift through the sand to get to the goal. That's all it is. You got to get through the no's to get to the yeses. And beginners, I mean, Zach's strategy is going to get you a lot more yeses. So I love what he just said. Typically, without that strategy, it takes about 50 offers to get one good deal under contract. Oh, yeah. But, the quicker you can make those, if it takes you 30 minutes because you go the traditional route and you don't use Dossie and use some different calculator or a spreadsheet, and then you look at the comps, and that's what it takes 30 minutes to make an offer. And if you're taking 30 minutes for every offer, then you can't get out 10 offers a day. You can get out a couple, right? And if it takes you 50 offers to get a deal, you can get a deal under contract per week if you're doing them in 30 seconds rather than 30 minutes. Does that make sense? So our biggest philosophy is, not only did, when we created that app, we created out of necessity for wholesalers because it was the biggest problem, because we were getting deals sent to us too high. And then we had to keep telling our students, now you got to go back to the seller and say, you can't perform on this. And that sucks. Who wants to have that conversation, right? You got to back out of a contract because you didn't know your numbers, because you didn't know how to analyze the repairs, and you didn't know what to offer because you didn't know what ARV was. Guys, these are simple things that all beginners wholesalers typically did not know before Dossie, but now because of it, you can do it and make offers quickly and confidently and get deals under contract immediately. So pretty soon in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be releasing a contracting sending feature that you can actually send your offer from Dossie electronically and get that DocuSign notification right when your seller accepts your offer. Now you have your first contract. You let me or Zach know, whoever you want to JV, it doesn't matter, right? And then your deal will be sold. As long as the numbers are correct, selling a deal is simple when you're dealing with guys like us or guys like Zach. We can dispo deals pretty quickly. Zach, you guys are dispoing your students' deals as well, right?
Yeah, obviously I don't try to dispo every single one, but the ones that pencil and they're good for me, yeah, I make a lot of money doing it.
Would you say if they sent you a screenshot of the numbers being good and you understand where their numbers came from and they send you the comps, does that make you want to look at the deal more? Because you don't want to waste your time on deals.
Yeah. So again, I use my own underwriting on JVs. It's a lot different than a front end. It's like a back end underwriting system. Again, it's a lot of manual underwriters doing it, like actual employees. Now, Dossie's great, but again, specific markets sometimes need a little more hand holding with buy boxes for different buyers, but that's not an automated system. That's like a big boy stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely using an AI filter on the back end and then goes into manual underwriting because you could filter out 80% of bad deals using software. The 20% I have people physically look at it, but dude, it's powerful, man. But remember, it's a tool. You know, you still got to make the offers. You still got to market to the sellers. And
you mentioned like you wanted to provide value here to your audience from me about like what lists to target, right? Didn't you say that earlier?
What list are you targeting?
What did you say?
What list are you doing to make?
Yeah. So guys, what we've noticed the best deals come from is absentee out of state owners. And I'm sure you can pull that list on X Leads. I'm 100% positive you can pull these motivated sellers lists. And so, you know, using those resources is really going to help you because so absentee out of state owners, guys, think about their situation, right? They are especially owned for longer than 20 years. Don't forget to add that filter as well. We love those deals because typically they're tired, okay? They're called tired landlords. Dude, they don't want to be dealing with their property in Massachusetts when they live down in Florida because they moved away and, you know, it used to be their house and now they just have a tenant in there because they thought they could be a landlord for long distance and now they're just fed up because the water heater broke or the tenant isn't paying. Guys, these are problems where the wholesaler can come in and provide value. When there's a tenant not paying a landlord, you know what we do, Zach? This is some game that I'm about to give you guys. You know what we do is we negotiate a cash for keys agreement. A cash for keys agreement for $5,000 to get them to leave. And that agreement says you have 30 days to exit the property. If you are not out by that 30 days, $200 per day is deducted from that $5,000. What does that do to the tenant? The tenant who can't pay rent clearly wants the $5,000.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money to them, and they want that, and they know they're going to get evicted anyway because we say, hey, it's either get evicted or take $5,000 from me and leave within 30 days. They don't have many options. They know you're buying the house or at least under contract to purchase the property, and you have the right to say, hey, listen, this is about to be mine. I'm happy to work with you and help you move on to the next chapter of your life. Here's a $5,000 agreement. Now, guys, here's the trick. You're not paying $5,000. That agreement goes to the buyer. You are assigning the entire contract. It's an addendum to the contract. Okay, so this is really a game here, but this is where you find the best fucking deals. If you find a seller that says, I have a shit tenant that I have to evict because they're not paying me, or you even get the sense that they're not paying them, because they're not going to tell you that. They're going to just give you an idea that maybe their tenant isn't paying. They don't want to tell their buyer that, but you might get a sense of it. The minute you get a sense of it, that's a fucking deal because you're going to put that cash for keys agreement in place. And that agreement, because of the way it's structured, like I just said, will put a fire under that tenant's ass. They want that full $5,000, so they're out within 30 days. Okay, it's beautiful because now once you have that cash for keys agreement, now you can sell the deal because it's sexy. The buyer knows, oh, everything's put together nicely. The tenant will obviously move out within the next 30 days. Worst case, I evict them. I put that in my numbers, and it's a fine and dandy deal. It's just numbers at the end of the day. Okay, and the seller is like, holy shit, you just bought my house even with this piece of shit tenant in it. Right?
Oh yeah.
Provided value to me. I don't want to deal with this problem. Your job as a wholesaler is to provide value. You want to look for problems to solve. Absentee, out of state owners owned longer than 20 years. You pull the list on X Leads, and now you're swimming in it. And you use a good script and a good contract. I'm sure you can get those in Zach's school, my school, wherever you want to get these things. And then you make the offer, you get contracts done, and you sell your first wholesale deal. And it's really that simple. But that's just me trying to give as much game as possible. Zach, I'd love to know your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple to do that. I guess, okay, that's one list, obviously. Where are the other lists you're using?
Okay, so there's a lot of other lists. Pre-foreclosures are good. Tax liens
Are you calling pre-foreclosures?
Of course.
Geez, dude, I don't call pre-foreclosures. That's my thing. Contact rates suck. On pre-foreclosures is the worst contact rate that I found in my markets. I only text them. That's really crazy. But I know guys that call pre-foreclosures. I'm like, dude, you're crazy. But everyone's different how they do it, though.
We leave really, really interesting voicemails that make the sellers want to call back.
I like that.
We're usually not getting a great initial contact rate.
Yeah.
You create curiosity.
I tell you, they're motivated.
And if you create curiosity, they're going to call you back. But if you just say, "Hey, I want to get you an offer on this," they're not going to call you back. But if you're like, "Hey, this is about your house. You got to call me within 30 seconds." Like, yeah, it's if you give them like that intensity, it really has a crazy effect.
Let me go band for band here, okay?
Okay.
When I text someone, I always text them. We always text this. Hey, this is your neighbor's. Hey, Joe, this is your neighbor Zach. I just drove by your house. Is everything okay? Something looked off.
Yeah. What's wrong?
You drop a text off like that, like,
yeah, that's good.
All right, just drove by your house. Something looked off. Are you okay? Like,
wow, that's game right there.
Dude, I remember people used to call like the prank calls, like, "Oh, your refrigerator's running." You know, like it's kind of like that. But that, like, I do that when you're texting.
Getting this game for free right now. Like, I've been
doing it for. I've been giving out for free for 6-7 years, man.
It's incredible. It's incredible. Everybody watching this channel is making the right decision because this is like is $1 million worth of game that he just spit. That is incredible. I absolutely love that. Do you mind if I steal something similar to that, Zach? I don't want to step on your
toes. Dude, I don't care.
Because I love that. Absolutely.
Here's the thing, man. I don't own the information rights for the people. Yeah. That's the way. That's always the way I look at it. As long as you're not selling behind a course, I don't really have a problem with it. It's always for the people, right? That's literally the point, right? And so, dude, okay. So really quick. So once you get a good deal, though, how are you dispoing it? How do you dispo most of these deals? Because you're getting a ton of JVs sitting in. Mm-hmm. So it's not like you have 1 or 2 buyers.
Right. So we have a nationwide dispo system. And the way it works is we have a disposition manager and we have a sequence of events. Anybody who's sending us a deal, we have them send it to us in the school community. And then we just recently switched from DMs to school for this. So
way better.
Yeah, way better. They send it to us in the school community and they send us 3 things. They send us the picture. They send us the dossier screenshot so we know that it's a deal and we don't waste time analyzing deal that's not a deal. And then they send us the contract. Because it's a 50, every deal we do is 50-50. We believe in equal value. We will find your buyer, you find the seller, and we'll get it done within 24 hours. So we often do it within 24 hours. Worst case is 48 hours if it's a deal. And because we know exactly who the buyer is for that property. We do not blast any deal anywhere. It will never be seen on a Facebook group. It will never be seen publicly. All of our deals are exclusive to our specific buyers that we think are the best fit for that property. So we call that the sniper approach when it comes to dispo. It's actually not very common. A lot of wholesalers will do what we call well, I won't even say it. It's a bad word, but it's a provocative deal. Okay. And we call that a provocative deal because it's blasted. It's for everybody. Anybody can have that deal. Okay. So it's like Susie who runs around town, right? Everybody can have her, right? We don't like those deals. Okay. So we don't post on Investor Lift. We don't do any of that. We actually just use that sniper approach to dispo, which is actually not very common, but it does work for us because when we call that buyer, I think they have my name in their phone as money calling. because when they answer the phone, I'm calling them to give them a deal, and they know that. So they answer on the first ring, and they usually close immediately. They give me that $2,500. We always do a $2,500 non-refundable earnest money deposit on all of our contracts when we're dispoing deals, so they have skin in the game and they don't mess around and waste the time on that original contract. So we have a really good, solid dispo system that we really have refined. Does that make sense?
Makes a lot of sense, man. That's why I did it. Makes your life easier. I get it. That's why I made X Leads. So they're different softwares, so they definitely do different things. So
yeah, they totally do. X Leads is where you pull all these lists from. X Leads, man. I mean, you need it. Like, you got to pull lists from somewhere, and X Leads is the best place to do it. So they're these two softwares are like peanut butter and jelly, brother. If you have these two, that's really all you need, other than the contracts and the scripts and the ability to make the calls.
There you go.
What else do you need?
Hey,
you know what I mean? So,
awesome, man. So, yeah, dude, you got an awesome school group. So if you search Wholesale Houses with us?
Well, you could just find us on Instagram or YouTube.
Yeah, really, it's the link on your Instagram.
It's just Enterprises Elite. It's the link in our bio of our Instagram. It's Wholesale Houses with us. We just want to do JV deals, and just give as much free game as possible. And just, that's it,
Dude, I love it. One thing I will tell you is really, really cool seeing, I think John posted it. You posted yours too. Like, it's like this AI, like storyboard, like a kid's story of your life, how you got started. And I thought it was really, really cool. So,
thanks, brother.
Dude, I saw yours. I was like, oh, that's sick. So I saw yours, I'm like, bro, I'm
the crazy thing is
now, man.
That's a true story.
Holy moly, man. Like, dude, that's emotional, man.
Deep, bro. His was more emotional than mine.
Bro, it took 15 seconds to go through the story. I'm like, deep, man. So check him out on Instagram. That was really cool, man. Yeah, I really liked it. So check him out, Instagram, school, wherever. You're gonna see him basically once a month on the new school wholesaling. And yeah, looking forward to doing more of these videos, man.
Absolutely, Zach. Thanks so much for having us. Appreciate it.